Before I tell you this story, I need to tell you something personal. I've lived 20 years in South Korea, a few hundred kilometers from one of the most dangerous regimes on Earth. So when people ask me why America is fighting in Iran, I have an answer that most people don't. Stay with me, because it changes everything about how you see what these men just did. April 3rd, 2026, an American F-15E Strike Eagle is shot down deep behind enemy lines in Iran. Both crew members eject into the night, but one of them, the weapons systems officer, is now completely alone, wounded, and on the run in hostile mountain terrain while Iranian Revolutionary Guard forces hunt him with bounties on his head. The pilot is rescued in a frantic first operation, but that rescue itself comes under heavy fire. What followed for the second airman was one of the most intense, high-stakes combat extractions in modern U.S. military history. Details are only now emerging, and this mission was even more insane than we knew. Stick with me, because this story is about to get wild. Some men measure time in minutes. Out here, in the shadows of the Zagros Mountains, you measure it in heartbeats. And for the WSO of Viper 21, heartbeats were the only thing he had left. April 3rd, 2200 hours. An F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Viper 21, is cruising at 30,000 feet. A Russian-made interceptor missile traveling at Mach 2.8 finds its mark. It doesn't need a direct hit. The proximity fuse does the work. Hour 0. The pilot is lucky, pulled from the dirt by a ground team in minutes. But the weapons systems officer? He's alone, deep, and broken. Hours 1 to 4. A shattered left ankle. In this terrain, that's a death sentence. The IRGC doesn't waste time. Drones hum overhead like mechanical hornets. Canine units catch the scent. Hours 4 to 12. Every ounce of SERE training comes down to this: crawl or die. While he scales a 7,000-foot ridge on a shattered limb, the U.S. turns the sky into a digital graveyard, jamming every radio and radar within 100 miles. Below him, our strikes turn the roads into craters, trapping the IRGC in a 40-mile cage of twisted steel. Hours 18 to 30. The cost of the rescue begins to mount. An A-10 goes down. 2 Pavehawks try to punch through and are peppered with heavy ground fire, forced to retreat with wounded crews. The WSO is watching his lifeline fray in real time. Hours 36 to 42. CENTCOM stops asking for permission. They send the Night Stalkers and Delta. But the insertion is met with a wall of fire. The cost of entry is staggering. 1 HC-130J and 1 MC-130J are shredded by anti-aircraft fire. They stay in the air just long enough to put boots on the ground before they are forced down, crippled and bleeding oil. Hours 42 to 48. The extraction zone is a chaotic symphony of metal and fire. Delta Force secures the WSO, but their transport, the 2 C-130s and both MH-6M helicopters, are no longer airworthy. They are metal skeletons held together by grit. We don't leave tech behind. As the teams scramble into 3 arriving MC-130Js, they set the charges. Massive explosions ripple through the mountain as the downed aircraft are vaporized by their own crews, turned to molten slag to ensure the enemy gets nothing but ashes. April 5th, early hours. 5 aircraft lost, 2 helicopters destroyed, a mountain of lead spent. But the WSO of Viper 21 is breathing. Mission accomplished. Every single American made it out alive. 0 U.S. casualties. They got stuck, they improvised, they blew up their own planes, and they brought everyone home. That's America. So why were they there? Why risk all of that? The aircraft, the operators, the 48 hours of hell in the Zagros Mountains. I've lived in South Korea for 20 years. A few hundred kilometers north of me is a regime that wants me dead. And I can tell you something. No analyst on television can tell you. Living next to an enemy is not stability. It is not normal. Every alert, every provocation lands differently when the threat isn't abstract. When it's that close, it changes how you sleep at night. Those men were in Iran for the same reason I understand better than most. You do not wait for the enemy to come to your door. You meet them far away, on another continent, so your family never has to. That is not aggression. That is the oldest logic of survival there is. They got their man, and now you know why it was worth it. This single day has sent shockwaves through the entire Iran conflict. And it just changed the game in a way no one saw coming. For weeks we've heard about total U.S. air dominance, but this mission proved something much bigger. Iran can still hit back hard from the ground, downing a top-line F-15E Strike Eagle and forcing America to put boots on the ground deep inside hostile territory for the first time. This wasn't just another airstrike. This was the first major combat operation with American special forces and pararescue men operating on Iranian soil under fire, fighting off IRGC units, cratering roads, destroying their own stranded aircraft, and improvising a full extraction while the enemy closed in. And here's the bigger picture. This operation isn't just about one rescue. It's a preview of what happens when, not if, the Iranian regime ultimately falls. A post-regime Iran could finally break the back of the Shia proxy network that's destabilized the entire region for decades. Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Shia militias across Iraq and Syria would lose their main sponsor and funding. For the United States and our allies, this could mean greater security, massive new trade opportunities, a dramatically more stable energy market, and a historic strategic victory against the anti-Western axis. Of course, the transition won't be easy. Power vacuums always bring risks, but either way, the regime's days are numbered. This has been one of the most dramatic and heroic chapters yet in the Iran conflict. A stunning shootdown, a desperate 48-hour hunt behind enemy lines, intense firefights, the deliberate destruction of stranded U.S. aircraft, and a flawless final extraction under fire that brought both crew members home safely. These warriors put their lives on the line every single day. Our thoughts and deepest gratitude go out to the rescued airmen and their families, the pararescue men, and special operators who risked everything, and every American serving in this conflict right now. If you truly support our brave American troops, please consider subscribing right now by clicking that channel button on your screen. There are so many anti-American voices out there, channels and bots flooding the internet every single day. We need strong channels like this one to stand up and give a real voice to the millions who still proudly support those who serve and sacrifice for this nation. Your subscription, it genuinely gives me the fire and motivation to keep creating more videos like this. I'm just a very small channel, so your support means more to me than you will ever know. I value every single subscription with all my heart. Thank you from the bottom of my soul. And God bless America.